European Nights is supported by Saltire Energy, the global market leader in specialist drilling equipment rental. And I'm absolutely thrilled to announce tonight that ABTV is now supported by Craig International, game-changing procurement efficiency trusted by the global energy industry. With offices worldwide, Craig International continues to be a market leader. It's been 16 years since Aberdeen last performed on a European group stage level. Tonight, in front of a packed Pittodrie, the boys in red can turn back the clock. It's well balanced at 2-2. Kick-off is in 1 hour's time. The stadium tonight is full. There was not a single ticket available. It will be, hopefully, a night to remember under the lights at Pittodrie. Hi guys, how you doing? A very warm welcome to the show here on Ali Beg ABTV. This is European Nights. So this is where we build up to tonight's huge game against BK Hacken at Pittodrie. Perfectly balanced, as I said, at 2-2. So what's coming up on tonight's show? I'm absolutely thrilled to tell you that we will be having a debutant tonight. Former goalkeeper Joe Lewis has spoken to me earlier today, and we will get his thoughts on the game a little bit later on. Singer and huge Aberdeen fan Terry McDermott, who once came third in the UK version of The Voice, will be joining me from his home in New Orleans a little bit later as well. But there is only one place to start tonight, and that is with the breaking team news. And Barry has made a number of changes. He's made 4 in total from the St Mirren game. In comes Richard Jensen, Jamie McGrath, James McGarry and Shaden Morris. No Jack McKenzie, no Johnny Hayes, no Dante Polvara and no Angus MacDonald, who drops down to the bench. So what are we expecting tonight? Could it be a 4-3-3? Could it be 3 at the back with our normal wing backs, with Shaden playing up on the right, Bojan playing through the middle? How do you guys see this team tonight? But Barry has rung the changes. It's a very interesting team news for tonight. Just let me also very quickly tell you that we were all wondering whether Sadiq was going to play tonight, and he is. He starts on the right-hand side. So if we go 4 at the back, I'm wondering if we set up to match them in formation. So Sadiq does start for Hacken tonight. He was obviously their danger man in the first leg in Gothenburg, and he will have to be carefully marshalled this evening. So if you're watching for the first time, how you doing? A very warm welcome to the show. If you wish to have your say, please feel free. Leave your comment on YouTube under the video. Don't use bad language. Please be respectful to everybody else who comments, and I will do my best to read out your comment this evening. I am aiming to do roughly half an hour, but because we have a slightly extended show because of Joe's interview, we might creep over that. So let's just see how we get on tonight. But before we get you guys involved, let's crack on with Terry McDermott, who I spoke to earlier today from his home in New Orleans. Huge Aberdeen fan, used to work at the club, a sensational talent, gigs all over the world. And as you can imagine, he can't wait for kickoff tonight. Terry McDermott. How you doing, fella? You all right?
Good, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. It's good to see you. Thanks for jumping on, because I know it's the middle of the morning in New Orleans. Hey, fella, how giddy are you about tonight?
I have been like a kid on Christmas or Christmas Eve for the last week. We've been waiting for this a while, haven't we? We've been waiting this long.
Yeah. Right, what are you expecting?
It's going to be a very close game, I think, a lot closer. I mean, I personally was probably getting a little carried away after the last game. We had them on the ropes at the end last week. And I think if we played another 10 minutes, I think they'd be in trouble. The Swedes would be in trouble. But as it stands, it's very finely balanced. And this team is capable of hitting this. I saw that Sadiq's going to play.
Yeah.
which a bit of a bummer. I thought maybe he'd be out. And he can obviously get at us. That he's a good player. So I think it's going to be the odd goal. I don't think anyone's going to roll anyone here. I think it will be the odd goal. They're not a bad side, and they're obviously not the side that we beat 5-1 at Pittodrie. So,
do you know what I found really interesting in Barry's press conference? Is how he speaks about the fans and how the fans help get the team over the line. And mate, we both know we've both been very lucky to have witnessed some of the most amazing nights, European nights at Pittodrie. But there is something different about European nights under the lights, eh?
yeah, that final walk down Markland Road when the lights are on, and you can see the steam rising off the.
Yeah.
Just what an atmosphere. In fact, funnily enough, my son is going to be coming home to watch the game with me, and I took him to his first ever Aberdeen game. Was Aberdeen versus Copenhagen.
Oh, really?
I was home playing a gig, the drive line, and I took him to Copenhagen. And I always tell him, I deliberately wanted your first match to be something special. It was only a baby, really. But point being that there is just an atmosphere, there's an edge, there's an energy, there's a thing. We have a history of these nights at Pittodrie, and this one has the potential to be very, very special. I mean, if you're a player, I mean, I'm not sure what else you need. You've got to have a full Pittodrie, absolutely, baying for Swedish blood, and a chance to do what no Aberdeen team's done in 16 years.
Hey, mate, listen, you're in the entertainment industry. I've been fortunate to have spent a little bit of time in the entertainment industry, and thriving off an audience's energy always made me improve my own performances. I fed off it. I fed off that excitement. I fed off that adulation. I don't think there is a better platform for these players to show how good they really are and can be. Do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I've been lucky enough to play shows all over the world, and doesn't matter where it is, doesn't matter what kind of gig it is. If an audience is feeding into what you're doing or is feeding you, then you reciprocate. You take advantage of that. And I think Graham Shinnie last week's a great example. You could see that the Aberdeen fans had him, fired up. I think one reporter suggested a drug test afterwards. He looked pretty animated. I don't think some of these players, our players and the Hacken players, maybe they wouldn't have seen obviously a full Pittodrie going mental tonight. But I really hope that it's one of those special atmospheres that lets the players know in no uncertain terms just what an occasion it is.
Right, mate. Fingers crossed.
Get
yourself off. Enjoy the game. Stand free. I'll speak to you soon.
Stand free.
All right, fella.
Cheers.
Top man, Terry. Barry said, it's a difficult game for us. We know that. We need to be at our best to win. We know that. We know it's going to be difficult. There'll be times when we won't have the ball, and there will be times when we will try and get after them. The game will be difficult for both. He said they've got a chance to go to the Europa League, and it will be a great achievement for the players if they did. I wouldn't say that there's any more pressure on them. I just think there's more excitement in them to go and try and perform well against a full house at Pittodrie. That's what he said about the players. If you're not going to tonight's game, here is Dolly Digital's match day programme. That's the front cover and that's the back cover. And don't you just love it? He continues to come out with the most astonishingly brilliant match day programme covers. Right, guys, before we get Joe on, let's start bringing you in and let's start getting your comments on about tonight and let's see how you're all feeling. So, DM said, come on you Reds, let's do this. Transmission, GGB has said, I'm really nervous and praying for the football gods to be on our side tonight. Come on you Reds. Duncan Wright, hi Duncan. Cool heads tonight. Take the game to Hacken with a sellout crowd tonight. We can do it. Come on you Reds. Paul Ricci has said, let's forget about the league performance. European nights are different. I'm getting giddy already. Adam Stewart, hi Adam, how you doing? Tuning in from Adelaide, Australia. Come on, he says. Sega Saturn lad, come on you Reds. You have to fancy us. Ralph is here. Hi Ralph, how you doing? So he's gone with, he's given me the starting lineup. Thank you Ralph, appreciate that. Blaze EU has predicted a 3-1 win for the Dons. Graham Clark has wished everybody a good evening. Hope you're all as buzzing as me. Surprisingly not nervous. Just need to play much better than Sunday. This is our shot. Jason Campbell has said, I haven't been this nervous since the Anton Roga and Theo Schneider's penalty shootout. Ah, dearie me. Ralph is back saying an early goal would be really, really good. Settle the nerves and let's us hit them on the break where they looked very vulnerable last week. Fraser Gunn is here. Hi Fraser, hope you're well, my man. Massive night ahead. Have a feeling we will need to be patient. Our bench looks talented tonight. I have the faith. Come on you Reds. Kilted Warrior has wished everybody a very good evening. Transmission GGB has said... Sorry, mate, just let me get that back. Where are you? Transmission GGB, where have you gone? Oh, I've lost you. 1 second, mate. I will find you in just a sec. Oh, I lost you. He basically said it's a perfect night for us tonight. Right. The Mad Ferret says, come on, let's do this. Graham Barron is here. Hi, Graham. Let's keep the back tight tonight and bang in the goals. Can't be bothered, it says... Heed first, let's get into them from the whistle. Hayden Ritchie has wished everyone a good evening, as has Dandy Dawn. Let's get into this wee team tonight and let the Red Phoenix rise. Kilted Warrior has put a tenner on Aberdeen winning 3-1. Dandy Dawn is feeling positive tonight on a grass pitch at home. Players are fitter. Duke will score tonight. Transmission GGB, I found your message again. Couple of early goals just to calm the nerves would be nice. Peter Hentges, I hope I've pronounced that correctly. Hi everyone, 3-1 for us tonight. I'm nervous, but optimistic. Transmission GGB is hoping for a 4-3-3. So you've just heard from Terry McDermott. So this is what Terry is predicting in terms of the setup. So Devlin, Ruby, Jensen, Magari, McGrath, Shinnie and Clarkson in the middle. Morrison, Duke just up. And then Bojan to play on his own up front. Hearts are losing 2-0. Yeah, a lot of people are asking about Angus MacDonald. Clearly not fully fit yet. Yeah, I think so too, mate. Fraser Mackey is loving the changes. Bring it on. Andy B thinks it will be a back three. Dandy Don said good pace and attacking setup. Chris Andrews has said, a shout out to my brother Paul Andrews. He's a muppet. Come on the Dons. Adam Stewart is here. Hi Adam. Still looks like a 3-5-2 I reckon, with Devlin playing right side of a back three as he started in the away leg. Fraser Gunn has asked, has anyone else been blasting the European song today? Scotty Bludgett has said, great changes, refreshing and filled with a lot of optimism. Come on you Reds. Can't be bothered. Oh, pop star friends. You better believe it, my pal. A lot of you are talking about the Copenhagen game and the Bayern game. Gosh, if we can replicate those results, dearie me, and those performances. Neil McDonald has said, nerves jangling, big positive that the Dons have in a depth in the squad. Worried we could be distracted by the transfer window shenanigans. All the best, stand free. Thanks again for all your efforts, Mr. B. Absolute pleasure, mate. No need to thank me. Chilling has suggested 3-5-2 according to the Tinternet. Mick Mackey has said, close tonight. The support has to be our weapon of energy and final result in our favour. Let's roar and tell Europe we are coming. So, right, let's get Joe on for you. So, I spoke to Joe earlier today and we spoke about the St Mirren game. We spoke about what he thinks will happen tonight. And we also had a little chat about what his plans are for the future. So welcome to ABTV for the very first time. An absolute legend of a guy. He's a top man. He was a fantastic goalkeeper for us. Welcome, Joe Lewis. Hi, Joe. It's lovely to see you, mate. Thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. I know that you're working on the game tonight, so it's absolutely fantastic to see you. How are you keeping? Are you keeping well?
Good, thanks. Yeah, yeah, really enjoying a bit of a break from playing, but obviously really looking forward to getting to the game tonight, and yeah, looking forward to what it has in store.
Yeah. You watched the first game in Gothenburg. Did you see enough for us to be able to have enough in our locker to get through this game?
Yes, is a short answer, but I do think I looking at the tie as a whole, and obviously I've only got what I felt when we played them a couple of years ago. I felt the away tie was the biggest hurdle
Hmm.
by some distance. Now that's easy to say because we beat them so comfortably at home and lost away. But we got through the tie, which is the most important thing. But that's it. That's easy to say that, and that's the only really marker we've got to go from. It is a different group of players on both teams now. Um, but one thing I'm really looking forward to is I thought we got a lot of joy from our pressing and our sort of high starting positions. Um, Hacken play a high risk brand of football they want to play out at all costs, pretty much, which is fine when you're at home and you've got the crowd on your side. And I mean, I would, not meant to be bold predictions, but I think we'll get a lot of joy from their goal kicks, from the way they set up. And if we can press and get that right, if they stick to that, which I think they will, I can't see them changing too much. If they stick to that and then we stick to our high pressing, which we have to, then I think we will get some real joy from that position. But that's I think our strongest. Winning the ball high up, win it in their sort of defensive third, our attacking third. That's why I think we'll get a joy. And yeah, obviously they're really good going forward. They've got
Hmm.
some real threats going forward.
Hmm.
I think Sadiq, the boy.
Yeah. Yeah. Good player.
He's a really sharp player, and Rygaard, the centre midfielder,
Hmm.
is a really good player. He's got plenty of goals, and there's some really good. They've got some really good sort of technical players and a bit of firepower up front as well. So it's going to be. I think it's going to be a really good game. I don't think we're in for a 0-0. That's for sure.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Um, so I know that you watched bits and pieces of the St Mirren game. Obviously, it wasn't great. The performance wasn't great. You know, I think it's safe to say that we got out of jail. But I don't think we'll see that type of performance again. Where do you stand on this whole thing about building a new squad, all these new players coming in, needing time to gel together? Where do you sit with that?
I mean, it's you don't want to use excuses and
Mm,
say that we've got 12, but we've got 12 new players in the door. Um, and you've got to look at where we've come from. Now, obviously, a few years ago we were flying, doing really well, and second places and that sort of thing. You got to look 18 months ago where we were
yeah.
and how far we've come from that. Obviously, that's you hope that it was just a little one-off dip, but we've come a long way from there. And there's been a massive turnaround in players in the last, I think last summer as well. A massive rebuild last summer. A few of them worked brilliantly, and a few didn't work at all. But we had similar sort of thing this year. 12 players in is a huge number to get in, and by the sounds of things, it's maybe not even finished yet. So,
Yeah, yeah.
um, um, it's you're going to get inconsistency with that, and it's how quickly we can get through that and past that. The massive plus, I would say, and I know massive slice of luck on Sunday,
Mm,
but we're finding ways to. We would have lost that game 18 months ago. 100%, we would have lost that game. We've just found a way of living some difficult. I looked at the start of the season when the fixtures came out. I thought that's tough.
yeah.
That is tough. St Mirren away, and that's St Mirren away before you see. I was thinking before you see how well they've started. Now I think we've got to also be a bit respectful of St Mirren and
Agreed.
how well they played and how good of a team they are.
Mm,
Um, it's not. They had a good finish last. They didn't finish the season, but they finished in top 6 last season. Lost a couple of players, but they've got a very good manager who's got them playing a really good way. And they'll be devastated they didn't win that game. Aberdeen have got to take the positives and say, look, we didn't lose. Yeah, we got lucky. In my opinion, Bojan has kicked it against his other foot in that end. I think he did, in my opinion, for the penalty. But we got it. We've not had a lot of luck. And last season was, it felt like at times it was a conspiracy. I don't think it was, but it did feel that way at times. It just felt like bad luck after bad luck after bad luck with decisions, with mistakes, with whatever. Everything came at bad times. Now, we got through that. Barry got us through that a little bit, and a bit of past that woe is me and that sort of feeling sorry for yourselves. Of course, it's not good. You don't want to see that level of performance that we had in the first half, but massive positives is that we didn't lose a game.
Let's talk about your own experiences in Europe. Obviously, you played a number of games for Aberdeen in what was the Europa League qualifiers. Obviously, we were never able to sort of break through these qualifiers. How frustrating was that, Joe? And do you think it became a monkey on our back?
I always think you start the season, and we all love them Thursday nights at Pittodrie, and they were great atmosphere. Just got a different feel to them completely to any other game you play in. And I just felt like we just played against some really good teams.
Yeah.
Some really good teams. And I think not this season we've had a good draw, I think, in Hacken. Not that they're not a really good team, because they are, but they're definitely beatable. Not that these teams weren't beatable, but they were. I mean, Karabeg last season, they were just they had some brilliant players, and the style of play. They had some really, really top players, technically gifted players. We came up against some really tough opposition. I do think that the thing this season that doesn't worry me at the moment, but I hope we can learn quickly, is I don't think we've got much European experience in our team. And not many players you are going to sign are going to have massive European experience. But I think there was 11 European debuts.
Yes, correct.
Last week.
Yeah, correct.
In the squad. That's a lot, and like I say, you're not going to sign experienced European players, but there's certain things that you need to be aware of. Refereeing is a big one, and having that patience with the referees, because they might be not very good. Coupled with that, they might see things completely different to what we do. So they might have a bad game, and they see things. I mean, I think Dante's tackle, it was never in my book ever a booking or at all, but his studs were up. There was no power in it. He didn't catch the ball, he won the ball. But I've played in games where a referee will interpret that completely different, and they'll see that, and all they'll see is the angle of the ankle and the studs. So I think that's your European experience. What is that? Well, that's dealing with difficult circumstances, dealing with the opposition, doing different things that you're used to compared to domestic, dealing with referees making some decisions what you think are absolutely off the scale, bad, and nothing you've ever seen before. That's what experience in European competitions is, and Barry's got an abundance of that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he's relaying that, and the lads that have played, Johnny has got a lot of it. Shinny's played in plenty of European games, so hopefully these lads are speaking to lads. Sometimes you get a feeling before the game when you're in the change room and the referee comes in to check your studs or check the colour of the goalie kit or whatever. Straight away you're like, oh no, this guy's going to be hard work. Okay. So hopefully they get that, and they are clever and smart with it, and but that's what I found the most difficult thing I found when I first back to my experiences. My first games for Aberdeen were European games. That's the biggest thing I felt. Away from home, atmosphere is different. Obviously, the heat, and the referees. Some of the referees you just it's was baffling to some of the decisions. I remember Jaden Stockley getting sent off for 2 bookings.
Yeah.
In that sort of infamous game. Yeah, it was it was crazy really, but I mean, you can almost laugh looking back, but yeah, it was them sort of moments you just think, but that gives you experience, and I look back at them European experiences fondly, although obviously it would have been great to get through. It was a lot harder to get through back then.
Yeah.
Then.
Right, mate, just
This
to
year
finish
it's a bit
off.
different.
Sorry, fella. So just to finish off, what's next for Joe Lewis?
At the moment, I'm keeping my options open. I've done the Sky stuff and a bit of doing the BBC stuff tonight. But I want to play. I'm still physically up to it. I'm still able to do the job, to play in goal, to use. I feel like I've got a bit left to give the game in terms of the playing side. So I'm keeping my options open. I'm not attached to a club at the moment contractually, so the transfer window won't apply to me in that respect. So I can be patient. I'm being patient at the moment and seeing what comes up. Hopefully, it'll be a playing role for the next year or possibly 2. And then we'll see what comes after that. I'm doing my coaching badges at the moment. Not that I think I'd want to be a goalkeeper coach at the moment, but the more I start to do that, the more I might enjoy it. And we'll see what comes up. I'm not going to sort of make any decisions now, apart from I'm going to keep my eyes open for the playing role right now.
Okay, mate. Brilliant. Mate, it's been absolutely brilliant having you on. Thank you so much for coming on. And look, no matter what you do, no matter where you end up, the very best of luck. And it'd be great to get you on again. And but listen, mate, enjoy tonight. And thank you so much. Lovely to see you.
Cheers.
All right, mate. Take care.
Thanks, Ali.
It was so good to get Joe on, and hopefully we'll have him on more throughout the season. Just a quick reminder, if you haven't subscribed to Ali Beg ABTV here on YouTube, I'd be absolutely thrilled if you would please consider it. It doesn't cost you anything. We're motoring towards 2,900. We've picked up over 50 new subscribers in just a week since we came back at the beginning of this season. So the building process continues, and we're doing unbelievably well. Also, just very quickly, you saw at the top of the show, and you've probably seen the little graphics there about Craig International. And I just want to personally thank Steve McCarty and Jill McDonald, who are joint managing directors of the company, who have come on board and have they've bought into the idea, they've bought into what I'm trying to do here, and I am so grateful for their support and the continued support from Mike Logie and Craig Cameron at Saltite Energy, who have been with me from day one. And it just means that, I can just continue to build the platform and build the channel. And obviously the membership scheme where you guys invest in me as well will never be underestimated. I will never take it for granted. And I will always thank you as much as I can. Right, let's just get back to some of your comments, because there is something that I want to show you in just a moment. But in the meantime, let's just get back to some more of your comments. So, Crafton Campbell has said, best of luck tonight to the Dons, from Grace and Graham in sunny Limerick. Hope you're both well. Risard Gorski has said, big European night at Pittodrie, only one outcome. I hope you're right, mate. 33 and Ted has said, Morris on the right, still not convinced. I confess, neither am I. Phil McLean, hi Phil, he is predicting a 2-1 win for the Dons. Dandy Don, in regards to Shaden, has said he just needs to lift his decision making. That final ball needs fixed. I agree. Graham Findlater has said, huge game, biggest since Copenhagen. To get to Europa League would be gargantuan for the club and city. The money, prestige, experience could really set us up for a bright future. Oh, it's massive, isn't it? Mark Howison has said, evening all from a glorious Pittodrie. Oh, brilliant. Kilted Warrior has just reminded everybody, if you wouldn't mind hitting that old like button if you're enjoying the show tonight. It just helps with the YouTube algorithm and pushing us further up the page and all that sort of stuff. Chris Andrews has said, love this time before a match. Everything is possible. Stand free. Paul Simmers has said, come on you Reds. A lot of you are talking about Joe Lewis. Honestly, loved catching up with him. He's just a top lad. Sega Saturn Lad has asked if he still lives in Aberdeen. He doesn't, mate. He's now down south. Ewan Grant is here. Hi, Ewan. Big Joe Lewis. What a man and a great servant for our club. He will always be welcome, 100%. Yeah, lots of you talking about Joe. Sagan Saturn Lad has said, what a signing Jeff Hendricks would be if they can pull that one off. I completely agree. Deary me, what a statement of intent that would be. Gosh, so many of you are commenting. It's fantastic, particularly about Joe. So nice to see. Right. Okay. So, there's something I want to show you. Now, the reason that I'm showing you this, first and foremost, this was sort of pointed in my direction from a friend of mine. And when I looked at it, I thought it was very interesting. It's about team gelling and team bonding and steps that teams have to go through to be able to get to the very highest level of performance. And something happened yesterday in the press conference which actually angered me. And now, it was something that Barry said. Now, I'm not angry at what Barry said, far from it. So don't take this the wrong way. Don't get the wrong point of view here. I was angered because he felt the need to say it. And what he basically said was he was talking about how everybody loved him and how everything was great after the Hacken game. And then on Sunday, people were wanting him out. And we all spoke about the game on Sunday and how disappointing it was. But the fact is that lessons will be learnt. And we have to go through experiences to be able to learn and move forward. It's still very much a learning process. Now, you know me, guys. I'm not here to preach. I will offer you an opinion now and then, but I'm not here to preach, and I will never, ever use this platform to preach. It is not my place. But if I feel sometimes that things are not quite right, I always try and put into context why things are not quite right. So, let me show you something, okay? And take a look at this. So this is called forming, storming, norming, and performing. And it's come from mindtools.com, which basically introduce it by saying, you can't just switch on teamwork. It takes time for a new team to gel and work to its full potential. What's more, team members go through stages as they move from strangers to co-workers. Now, this whole thing was devised by a psychologist called Bruce Tuckman, who came up with the memorable phrase forming, storming, norming, and performing in his 1965 paper Developmental Sequence in Small Groups. And it describes the path that teams follow on their way to high performance. Now, let me go through each step for you. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, why is Ali doing this? This is something that's like, years, it's decades old, but it stood the test of time because it is still being used in universities and colleges today as part of sort of team bonding and how to get that bond. So a lot of the top, and the reason I'm putting it, so to put this into context, the reason that I'm doing it is because obviously a lot of the keyboard warriors after Sunday were up in arms about how we played, how we're not gelling, how we're not playing certain players, how players are not performing, all that kind of stuff. So let me take you through each bit by bit. So just bear with me, because I just thought that you would find this interesting more than anything else. So the forming stage. In the beginning, when a new team forms, individuals will be unsure of the team's purpose, how they fit in, and whether they'll work well with one another. They may be anxious, curious, or excited to get going. However, they feel they'll be looking on the team leader for direction. This may take some time as people get to know their new colleagues and one another's way of working. Now, this can be used in all sorts of life, in business, in offices, and particularly in sport. So the storming stage. The storming stage is when people start to push against the established boundaries. At this stage, team members may challenge your authority or management style or even the team's mission. If roles and responsibilities aren't yet clear, individuals might begin to feel overwhelmed by their workload or frustrated at a lack of progress. Now, I don't think that we have that too much to worry about. But I do think the next part is interesting, which is recognizing the norming stage. So gradually, the team moves into this stage. People start to resolve their differences, appreciate one another's strengths, and respect leaders' authority. Now that they know one another better, the team members will feel more comfortable asking for help and offering constructive feedback. They'll share a stronger commitment to the team's goals, and they should make good progress forward. So eventually, with all that in place, you get to the performing stage. Now, the team is in full flow and performing to its full potential. With hard work and structured processes, the team is likely to achieve its goals efficiently. So the reason that I brought that up, as I said, is because Barry needs time. For anybody who's played the game, and I don't care what level it is, if it's playing with your mates on the grass across the road from your house, if you're playing in a boys club, semi-professional, amateur, it doesn't matter. When new guys come in, new boys and girls, and they come in, you don't know what to get from them until you get to know them. So I just think people need to calm down. And I know that a lot of people were frustrated after Sunday. Of course we were frustrated. But as Joe said in that interview, we did not lose the game. 18 months ago, we would have lost that game. So, and again, as he said, we've come so far. So I just think we need the time, and we should allow the guys, particularly Barry and Steve and his backroom staff, just to bring the lads together, to build the team, to gel them together, to make them all singing from the same hymn sheet. And football doesn't work that way, that everybody starts singing from the same hymn sheet straight away. So I hope it was of interest to you. I just wanted to do something slightly different tonight because it frustrated me that Barry had to say something like that, because he obviously feels it. Do you know what I mean? Otherwise he wouldn't say it. And I don't think he deserves to feel it, really. That's all I'm saying. Okay. So Kilted Warrior said, a lot of new players in the squad. They need to find their place. I agree. Scott W, look at Hibs. That same attitude amongst their fans cost them, their manager, his job 3 games into the season. 4 if you count the European game. Scott W said, our fans always do it. If we don't hit the ground running, it's the end of the world. Players get singled out for unfair criticism. The manager gets it in the neck. He goes on to say, the way some fans have reacted to the indifferent start is laughable. They don't understand that it's going to take time to build the confidence within the team. It's obvious it will take time. Ewan Grant has said, I'm glad you touched on this, Ali. I was annoyed at the OTT criticism on Sunday. Guys taking a step up in level. Guys once leaders at their old club playing in a new system. It will take time. John Smith, Stormin Norman, loved the invasion of Tribute Act, always learning a lesson, it would seem, sadly. Okay, Laura McLean is here. Hi, Laura. She says, Dons for the win. Obviously gutted I didn't get the tickets. The traffic coming home from work was mental. Everyone heading to the game. It was brilliant to see. DM has said, come on, you Reds. Let's do this. Right, guys, we are done. Paul Mathewson has said, it will take time to learn his best starting 11. John McDermott has said, Jensen looks the real deal against St Mirren. Another good opportunity for him in a changed back 3. McDonald did not look fit on Saturday. I agree. Phil McLean has said, just like any job, it takes time to get to know everyone. And with 12 new players, it will take time. Dandy Don makes an excellent point. A young Sir Alex Ferguson took 4 years to help Man United. Chill, folks. Good times are coming. SITV Network says, in Barry, I trust. Who do the fans want? Jim Goodwin again, exactly. Colin Klein Music has said, evening Ali, big win tonight incoming. Hi Colin, hope you're well. Right guys, listen, we'll call it a night because we are edging ever closer to kick-off. So, look, the very best of luck tonight to the lads. They know what's in front of them. They, like, as I mentioned to Terry, just feed off the crowd. Don't leave anything in that dressing room, as we continually say here on the channel, and just go and show everybody that you deserve your place in the Europa League, and just believe in yourselves and just show everybody what you can do. You know, do it for your families, do it for yourselves, do it for your manager, but most importantly, do it for the fans. Because if you do it for the fans, we'll be right behind you 100%. Well, the majority of us will. So guys, listen, we'll be back tomorrow with a review show, and we'll incorporate the draw into that as well. So fingers crossed for the lads. Stand free. Have a brilliant night, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed the show tonight. Take care, folks. See you soon.